How's it going, guys? Liam here from AltSignals. Today we're going to be discussing the markets over the past 7 days, where we see it heading, and look at some of the coins that have performed the best over the 7 days. As always, if you could give us a like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and let's get into it.
AltSignals.io.
Okay, so what have we had in the news? So we've had Jack Dorsey says Square is considering developing a Bitcoin hardware wallet. So in the statement here, if we do it, we would build it entirely in the open, from software to hardware design, and in collaboration with the community, Dorsey said in a Twitter thread. So this is good news. Essentially, we could see Square make a hardware wallet for Bitcoin, and again, that's just another company adopting Bitcoin. Obviously, Jack Dorsey's already big in the crypto space, so it's nothing new, and we wouldn't see why this isn't a thing. But as you can see here, Cash App integration is obvious for us, but only part of the solution. A smooth experience likely depends on a custom built app, but it doesn't need to be owned by Square. We can imagine apps that work without Square, and maybe also without permission from Apple and Google. Dorsey said he's open for feedback and will continue the conversation around developing a hardware wallet. In the meantime, his team will set up a dedicated Twitter and GitHub account if the plan to build the wallet goes ahead. So again, big news for Bitcoin. And another adoption of Bitcoin. So Alibaba, Google, among more than 300 companies seeking Singapore crypto licenses. The Monetary Authority of Singapore has received over 300 requests for payments and crypto exchange licenses, including applications from Google and Alibaba. Companies apply under the Payment Services Act, a comprehensive regulatory framework for companies handling activities relating to digital assets, including payments and trading. So again, giving licenses to somebody is a premium. It is not something to be taken lightly. We are ensuring that whatever gets in the Monetary Authority of Singapore license will be credible. So this again is companies trying to get this MAS license to essentially handle activities relating to digital assets. So like payments and trading as well. This was on the 4th of June, so again, we're going to see more of these licenses coming around very soon. Texas governor signs law creating legal framework for crypto investments. The law amends, adapts commercial law to blockchain and digital assets, and defines virtual currencies. So from the governor, we got blockchain is booming. We got blockchain is a booming industry that Texas needs to be involved in. I just signed a law for Texas to create a master plan for expanding the blockchain industry in Texas. The new law amends the state's Uniform Commercial Code to better adapt commercial law to blockchain and digital assets, formally defines virtual currencies, and offers individuals and businesses a legal environment for crypto investment. So this is big as well, because essentially there is a national law review. About 25 states are considering blockchain and or other digital asset related measures in their 2021 legislative sessions. So again, right now what we're seeing is essentially states trying to create a pathway for cryptocurrency businesses, individuals, more so, and being able to utilize this coin and adopt it further in the states. This brings me to the next big thing regarding this, which is 21 shares to list Bitcoin ETP in London on the Aquis exchange. Now, obviously, we've already had a lot of problems in the UK regarding cryptocurrency and derivatives, and obviously their real concern for retail traders. That's essentially kind of what they're using as a push as to why they're trying to kind of push back on crypto exchanges being used in the UK, such as Bybit, which UK users essentially got told to close their account within a certain amount of days and transfer the money out because it can't no longer trade in the UK. So this is a Swiss-based investment product provider. It's launching a Bitcoin exchange traded product, or ETP, in the UK on the Aquis exchange multilateral trading facility mid-June. So right now, the ETP will be cleared and engineered like a ETF, and will give institutional investors in the UK exposure to Bitcoin through a regulated framework and structure which they are already accustomed to, said the firm in a press release. Now, this is good for two reasons. Obviously, there's a lot of people who are on the fence and a lot of people who are against the crypto world. However, these bigger companies, these kind of large holding companies that have already got large customer base and again a lot of money to sink into this, essentially now they're going to provide a new way for people to kind of jump on this with some kind of regulation and structure in place, so people will feel more confident in doing this. Again, it even says here, so far the UK has been taking a cautious approach to approving crypto products. In January, and the Financial Conduct Authority banned the sale of derivatives and exchange-traded notes, describing the products to be ill-suited for retail consumers, citing potential harm. Here we are. We have been working alongside 21 Shares for months on this project. We are pleased to be able to respond to institutional demand in the UK for digital assets in this way. And that's the CEO of Aquis Exchange, which leads me on to my next part. So the ETC group will also be making its cryptocurrency ETP available to the UK investors on the Aquis Exchange MTF. This will be carried out by Swiss-based central counterparty clearing house 6x Clear. So what is that? So the ETC group is launching the first Bitcoin exchange traded product in the UK on the Aquis Exchange in London on June 7th. The trading of the ETP will take place in 4 different currencies: GBP, CHF, Euro and US dollar. The clearing will be carried out by Switzerland-based central counterparty clearinghouse 6x Clear. Earlier today, ETC Group listed 2 exchange-traded commodities, the BTC ETC, ETC Group Physical Bitcoin and the ETC Group Physical Ethereum on the Euronext Stock Exchange in Paris and Amsterdam. And here's the big part. ETC Group provides exposure to Bitcoin, Ether and Litecoin through our 100% physically backed cryptocurrency ETPs, and bringing our flagship Bitcoin product to Aquis Exchange was a logical step as institutional demand for exposure to crypto grows around the world. And that's the CEO of the ETC group as well. So we had a auction house, Phillips, to accept crypto on the artwork from Banksy. So essentially the artwork's worth between $2.8 and $4.1 million, and they are going to be auctioning this in Hong Kong, and the bidding auction will be conducted in Hong Kong dollars, with the winner having the option to pay either in dollars or crypto. So this is another big thing now. So a lot of this isn't just the only auction house. There has been others like Christie's and Sotheby's. So now more auction houses are even starting to accept crypto. So you can pay in dollars or you can pay in crypto. That's another big move here. Elon Musk. So apparently Anonymous Group have targeted Elon Musk over the crypto tweets that he's been doing over the past couple of months, citing his tweets have destroyed lives. Whether this is 100% certain or not is unknown, essentially because it's a hacker group, so anyone could kind of do this. However, there is a video on YouTube regarding the message to Elon Musk which you can watch, but basically it's now kind of they're highlighting a lot of things behind the scenes that obviously people don't realize with Elon Musk. So for instance, it is now widely believed you have been forced to denounce your company's involvement with Bitcoin in order to keep that green government money flowing into Tesla's coffers, the video says. So essentially what he's saying is that he gets money from government grants due to the carbon reduce or carbon taxes, essentially, because he's obviously got electric cars. Another part, it basically states Tesla has also made more money holding Bitcoin for a few months than they did in years of selling cars. It is also more than likely that this Bitcoin was purchased with money from these government subsidies. Also states here, reading the comments on your Twitter posts, it seems that the games you have played with the crypto markets has destroyed lives. Millions of retail investors were really counting on their crypto gains to improve their lives. This is something that you will never understand because you were born into the stolen wealth of a South African apartheid emerald mine and have no clue what struggle is like for most of the working people in the world. And it continues, of course, they took the risk upon themselves when they invested, and everyone knows to be prepared for volatility in the crypto. But your tweets this week show a clear disregard for the average working person. As hard-working people have their dreams liquidated over your public temper tantrums, you continue to mock them with memes from one of your $1 million mansions. You may think that you are the smartest person in the room, but you have met your match. We are anonymous, etc. So again, we don't know if this is any kind of truth in this, but again, if we look back over the past couple of months with Bitcoin kind of spiking when Elon announced that they would be accepting Bitcoin for Tesla, that they'll be holding it Bitcoin and they won't be selling it, and essentially then kind of denouncing it due to the amount of energy consumed due to mining Bitcoin. So they would no longer accept Bitcoin for Teslas because they wanted to essentially create a committee that could find ways to mine Bitcoin in a more sustainable way. And in turn, doing that, jumped to Dogecoin and fired that off again and made massive moves due to his tweets. And people are kind of now in some way scared to make any decision, because if they purchase something, it could go down from one tweet or from Bitcoin going down because of a tweet, and we see an overall market crash. There's a few things that we're going to look at today to kind of give that example and show you where we think it's heading anyway. But last two things regarding the news. So the president of El Salvador says he's submitting a bill to make Bitcoin a legal tender. This will make El Salvador the first Bitcoin country or nation to adopt Bitcoin standard. And if we read here, central banks are increasingly taking actions that may cause harm to the economic stability of El Salvador. That, in order to mitigate the negative impact from central banks, it's become necessary to authorize the circulation of a digital currency with a supply that cannot be controlled by any central bank and is only altered in accord with objective and calculable criteria. So, as of now, El Salvador is set to be the first Bitcoin country, Mala said, and the first country to make Bitcoin legal tender and treat it as a world currency and have Bitcoin on their reserves. So, I mean, El Salvador obviously has a lot of economic issues as well. A large majority of their population don't even have bank accounts, but apparently what they'll be looking to do is this will help people in the short term as well as long term. I believe a company known as Malas, which is a payment app built on Bitcoin's Lightning Network, has been on the ground in El Salvador this year, with Malas claiming to onboard over 20,000 Salvadorians a day during the app's peak activity in the country. So again, there is already adoption going on at the moment, and passing this bill hopefully will allow people to start to use Bitcoin as a form of legal tender, although it's not exactly used for that. Essentially what this will do is just cause more adoption for the coin in any case. Finally, we've got BitMEX is looking to work with a company known as Astrobotics, and what they want to do is essentially create a physical wallet and mint 1 Bitcoin, and on the Peregrine mission for NASA that they have, which is this here, Peregrine Lander, they are wanting to place a Bitcoin on the moon with the price of the Bitcoin along with the date and the BitMEX information as well. And essentially this is going to be looking to be scheduled for Q4, just ahead of the Doge 1 mission to the moon, which is from Elon Musk. So yeah, another crazy feat right now. So BitMEX essentially want to launch, jump on the Peregrine mission and launch, essentially kind of leave a Bitcoin on the moon. But again, this is just another thing. So because obviously Elon Musk is doing this whole Doge mission, they want to kind of put this on the moon and be the first, because this is the kind of the biggest and most life-changing cryptocurrency so far. So yeah, have a look at Astrobotic. You can kind of get some information as to what they're doing, the contracts that they've got with NASA and the exploration, but these are a very good company. They've got a lot of good tech. That's it for the news. Now let's look at the markets. So how have the markets played out over the last 7 days? So as you can see already, we've had a 2.6% increase over the last day. We're still edging towards, we're just touching a loss at the moment on Bitcoin over the past 7 days percentage. Ethereum though is up by 10% over the past 7 days, now 11. We look at Binance Coin, we're up 17%. And Cardano up 5%, Doge 19%, XRP is down over the past 7 days, but again, more than likely we're going to see that rise over the next week. Polkadot up 15% and Uniswap up 2.3%. So there's been some massive moves over the past week, which just shows that there's some consolidation kind of coming back together, and essentially we could be looking on the uptrend at the moment. So Where do we see this heading, and what do we expect from these particular coins as well? So if we look at the total crypto market cap and we look at this from the beginning of the year, so essentially January 1st, 2021 up to today's date. So if we look at the fib retracement, what's interesting to see is when everything happened and these tweets came out, and obviously there was a massive kind of drop in all cryptocurrencies. We lost like over $600 billion or more than, nearly $1 trillion in market cap from the overall market cap of the crypto space. So what did we see? So essentially what we saw is a drop down to the 618, which stayed there, and this seems to play some quite good support level there, as you can see here. And then we've kind of had a spike, and then two things. We've got a higher low now, and we're pretty much kind of in a position now where this 0.5 is, because it has been a resistance as opposed to a support line. So essentially what we could see here right now is, if we zoom in here, that this line is a trajectory along with this line as to what we might see here. So we may see a bit more time spent in this area before we see a breakout. Again, we've had some massive consolidation in terms of price, but again, if we look a little bit further back here, we had a spike in price. We dropped down to the 618. It stayed kind of just below it. Eventually we had a breakout. It stayed as support for a while, and then we broke out from the 0.5 and then dropped down. Same thing happened here. 0.5 then stayed as a support. So what I'm expecting to see is, once we have a candle close above this 0.5, then essentially what we might see is 0.5 play some support, and then we might see a breakout up to the 0.382, and depending on what happens in the news, and again in terms of the market itself and the key players, kind of, again, there's still massive adoption going on, so there's huge changes here. We might not see this in a week, we might see this in a month, but essentially, as you can see here, we found some support level there. Right now we've got some resistance at the 0.5 mark, and what we expect to see essentially is that this key area right here being a support along the line here, the green trend line, and potentially we'll start to see a further rise, and we'll see a higher high from this point here, and continue now to essentially break through this 0.5 over the next couple of days, which would be nice to see, and then the 0.5 become resistant at support, and then obviously moving to see if we can break through the 382, which is probably the next key area after 0.5. And yeah, so where do we see this heading? Personally, I see this heading on an upward trend now. We've had a massive drop. We've had a lot of bashing from people like Elon Musk and other companies in China, and all these different things regarding energy and mining and all these different things. Plus, on top of that, like I said, we might have just seen some overall consolidation happening at the 618 point anyway. So now what we could see is an upward trend starting to form now, with some higher highs and higher lows, and start to get back to the sort of 2 trillion mark, which essentially is only here. So we're not that far away from the 2 trillion mark again. I think once we kind of pass that point, then we'll start to see massive growth again. We might actually hit 2 trillion and then drop below like we did here, and maybe the 0.5 starts to become support again, and then we break through and we go for a further all-time high. So yeah, right now with the news that's going on, it's more positive than negative. We're seeing more adoption every single day. This week has been a bit of a mad week overall. Obviously, if we look back from the 31st, so literally from the 31st, we have moved quite drastically from up to around about 16%, and now sitting at 8% overall for the week. So again, things are looking up. We had the massive drop over the past couple weeks, and now we're in a new month. Everything's kind of refreshed, so we should see some healthy upturn moving forward as well. So That's it for today, guys. If you have any questions or you want to know more about what we do and what we offer, you can visit us at AltSignals.io. We offer signals as well as indicators that provide you with near perfect results for trades that you can do through Binance, and obviously we offer signals for Binance as well. As always, guys, if you could give us a like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and you'll see in the previous video where we discussed Dogecoin and when we see that heading as well. And we'll catch you in the next one.